Hi, I'm Josh Green. I'm the editor of Wine and Spirits magazine. We're here on East 12th Street in New York at Terroir. We're going to be talking with Gary Vaynerchuk. He's going to interview Paul Greco. Gary is the host of Wine Library TV, and Paul is the owner and the host here at Terroir in New York. Come on inside.
So I'm here with Paul Greco, and I'm gonna describe you as really, honestly, the coolest, you can beep it, motherfucker in New York City, doing wine in a way that really is respected by everybody. And he's not even the nicest guy on earth by brand. You know, you hear it. And so when you have that kind of respect, it's pretty amazing. And you know, this is an honor to be hanging out with you.
Okay.
So
please take that and send it to my mom.
Absolutely.
To hear that I'm good at something.
Why don't you tell us, about what exactly you do? Because the way I titled you might not be the official title, and where that comes from, and what's the vision behind what you do.
What I do, I'm the beverage director and general manager of 3 food and beverage operations. Hearth, which opened in '03, Insieme, which opened up in April of '07, and then where we are now, Terroir, a little wine bar that opened up 3 months ago in March of '08. And my job as beverage director is to find cool juice or yummy juice, at least to my palate, and then go out there and educate my staff and educate the public so that we are drinking so-called cool juice. My reputation out there is if there's a grape or a wine that cannot be sold, bring it to Paul Greco, because he's going to sell it. And that could mean that Paul just relishes esoterica or things off the beaten path. True, but they just can't be that. They have to be yummy. They have to taste good. I don't feel the need to push. I'm not against California wine, but I do get up in the morning and bow towards Europe and say my prayers. But those wines don't need to be pushed by me. They sell themselves.
They don't need
There's enough marketing power behind them. I'd rather champion some cool little region in Austria, some cool little varietal, Zierfondler, Rotgipfler, that no one's ever heard of.
Sure.
And is it going to make their lives inherently better? No, but for the 2 hours that they're within one of my food and beverage operations, not only will they have great food, great drink, and hopefully great service and hospitality, but they're going to learn something. They're going to expand their mind, their palate, because the way we put wine in front of people is not just to say, well, it's light to medium weight, bone dry, crisp acidity, blah, 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 blah. We want to tell a story behind it, position it within a culture, a history of a place, so that people learn something. So that's how I really view my role and what I try to do.
Where did your passion for wine come from?
I grew up in a family business restaurant. My grandpa opened a restaurant in Toronto in 1961, first formal Italian restaurant.
Interesting vintage.
Well, back then, those things didn't matter to Grandpa. He had sold liquor for, I believe, the Bronfman family, but I will be corrected on that, and apparently ran liquor into the States during Prohibition. So to be
bootlegger.
Exactly. A lot of good money was made in those days.
Love them.
So 1961, to be 50 years old and all of a sudden say, I'm going to change jobs, change industries, and do a formal Italian restaurant was revolutionary. It was called the Scala. My father joined him on the first day, and I was literally born there in 1965. And despite that background, I did not grow up drinking wine. I was young and athlete. I didn't have my first drink of alcohol until I was 18. I drank like a quart of milk a day. I wanted to be a soccer player, all of these things. But
how's the soccer career?
I'm still in the restaurant business. But my children are going to get there for me.
Live through them.
Exactly.
Live through them.
And I did dabble in the restaurant and up at the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, which runs all the stores.
You worked at the retail?
I didn't work there retail, but you had to buy all your wine there.
Got it.
Wholesale or retail.
Yep.
And every Saturday at the Vintages in downtown Toronto, they opened up some cool, great bottle of wine. And back in 1988, on that Saturday, they opened up a bottle of 1967 Chateau Yquem. One of the greatest vintages, greatest Chateau Yquems ever. And I went there with my best friend Bill. We paid $30 to get 1 ounce.
Wow.
So I paid my $30. This was 9:30 in the morning. Got my 1 ounce in some stinky little glass and tasted it and said, aha. That was the moment for me where everything came together. And I didn't, other than doing a
You
little...
obviously had some interest in wine at that point. If you were going to drop 30 bones on a 1 ounce, you can.
For me, it was, I was into the show. The show of whatever it was. The show of Depeche Mode and Echo and the Bunnymen. I ran a pub at the University of Toronto. I was into big production shit. And you know what, when you read about, with little I had read about wine, Shadowy Ken was always there. It was on the pedestal, the pantheon. So I was like, how can I not spend $30 for this stuff?
You wanted to tell people you had it.
Exactly. Good way to put it. So I still have the glass. Never been cleaned. It's collected dust, but still the inside of the glass has that residue of Shadowy Ken.
No kidding.
Got a nice little sticker on there. But that for me was it. And from then on, I said, holy, can wine really embody all of these things? Not just this incredible flavor profile, but this history. Thomas Jefferson had that stuff. We've been making wine in this region for 500-600 years, and history and philosophy were always interests of mine, but I was asked to leave the University of Toronto because I specialized in hospitality. But I still wanted to dabble in those fields, and wine, I realized, would allow me not only to drink some cool stuff, but to talk about history, philosophy, culture. Wine is at the center of many, everything in my world. So that's why I jumped into it. My father sent me to Italy for 28 days by my lonesome, every day, 2 bang-out meals, 5 winery visits, 2 weeks Tuscany, week Piedmont, week Veneto.
Huge.
Taken by the hand of Piero Antinori, Frescobaldi in Tuscany,
Huge.
Angelo Gaia in Piedmont, Sandro Boscaini in the Veneto, and they showed me the light. Not only did I learn to drink wine, to appreciate, to talk about wine. But again, the history and the culture all came crashing down upon me. I returned to Toronto and was now a relative genius compared to 29 days previous. Stayed there for 3 more years, needed to expand my experience. Because of my father's position within the industry in Toronto, I felt that he was uncomfortable with me working anywhere else. So I said, where else do I want to go? But best restaurant city in the world, so New York. So I arrived in '91. I've been here ever since. Worked at a bevy of restaurants: Remy, Boulay, Gotham, Gabriel's, Judson Grill, Gramercy Tavern in '95.
Which is really where you...
Which is probably where my reputation was formed. I went in there, worked as a waiter for 2.5 years, because at the same time I said, is this restaurant industry for me? I want to be a rock star. So I left management, became a waiter. Not a better place to be a waiter. Bought a guitar, took guitar lessons, wanted to be the new Bono, and failed. And then in '97 I...
Soccer, dead. Rockstar, dead.
So my children.
Wine genius, bingo.
Maybe I finally found the thing. So Danny and the gang there asked me if I wanted to be a manager, if I wanted to run the beverage program, be service director, and I leaped at the chance. And so I was the beverage director in those things for 5 years there. And what an unbelievable place to apply one's trade. While my budget was limited, it was seemingly unlimited. Mm-hmm. I could buy anything I wanted. The basis for that program was started by Steve Olson.
Yes.
Someone who taught a lot of us, or inspired a lot of sommeliers to not just go down the beaten path. That, you know, he was, for a lot of us, you could tell a Steve Olson list because it always had Mille Couture.
Yeah.
And not just the Riesling, but the Chardonnay. I'm like, what the fuck is Chardonnay?
Yeah.
And then, so that opened up a lot of doors. And so I ran that program for 5 years, achieved some level of acclaim, and then left to open my own place in November of '03.
Let's talk about this place where we are. Humongous, right? Huge. What is this? 40 million square feet? What is 500?
Vocabulary. This place is meant to bring the thunder.
There you go. I mean, this is something I'm very excited about. When I was hearing the hype and the pre-hype, I told you earlier, like I was running in between meetings and had to stop in here, which is unheard of for me outside of like getting an autograph from a washed up New York jet. Tell me what this is going to me. This is exciting because I see this as something maybe I need to. We need to talk about that. It's a playground, right? I look at this as a sandbox.
Well, at 500 square feet, it's not much bigger than the majority of sandbox.
But I do feel like, you know, I just feel this energy in here. Like, okay, we're gonna mix shit up in here. This little 500 square feet or whatever could legitimately change everything.
Well,
I'm very ambitious. But really,
I need to have you more in my life to help me expand.
But I honestly think, you know, any wine bar that uses trapper keepers to, you know, display the list. But forget about all the coolness and the t-shirts and this amazing stuff you're doing here. This is a playground for you, isn't it? Any comparison, don't you have complete freedom here?
Well, I would dare say as an owner I have complete freedom.
Right,
At the end of the day,
right?
You know, yes, I'm responsible to my investors. And
forget about that. You're yes, correct, but to your demo, right? I mean, like, won't these four walls give you a little bit more room than the other two lists? I mean, Hearth has a lot of room, but can't you really get funky here?
At the end of the day, truthfully,
yes.
At the three places, we do whatever the hell we want.
Okay.
And I think that's given us the reputation that we
sure.
have. At the three places, the wine programs are vitally different.
Correct.
Yes, there is crossover wine.
Right.
Hearth is about seasonality in wine. NCMA is about old world versus new world.
Sure.
Even though those barriers are not so clear anymore. And then terroir allows me to focus on
scary unclear,
terroir.
Right?
Sorry?
Scary unclear.
Scary unclear. But yes, you're right to the extent that in these 500 square feet, because it is so small, because I only have 3 staff members, because my rent is cheap, I'm paying under $30 a square foot, that I can screw this up and still not lose the house.
Right.
That this is relatively light on its feet. The cost of opening that door every day at 5 o'clock is minimal. So I can push the envelope on what we're doing wine-wise as hard as I want. And I'm not going to screw it up. And one of my salesmen pointed this out a few weeks ago, that 10 years ago when I was at Gramercy Tavern, people used to walk in, sit at the bar and say, okay, I want a Chardonnay by the glass,
sure.
or I want a Merlot by the glass, or I want a Cabernet by the glass. Now, it's a different dynamic. And are we in a different generation 10 years later? I don't know what that definition would be. But now people walk in and they say, let me see your by the glass list. They're not predisposed to having those wines. They may end up, but at least they're willing to look. And if they're willing to look, because of the way we set up our program and how intimidating the list is, and it's purposeful, I apologize for that, but they're going to engage us in questions. And they're like, Zier Fondler, Mondelheur, Stadelman, Thurman region, I don't understand those. What is that? And then you have the conversation. And once you have the conversation,
you're in the game.
All bets are off. Like stickers?
I love stickers. Summer of Riesling 2008. Is it true that if you walk into this place and want a wine by the glass, white, it's going to be warm this summer, that if you want a Viognier or a Chenin Blanc or a Chardonnay,
go somewhere else.
You're going to kick them in the neck?
I'm going to kick them in the neck.
Verbally.
I will apologize first, then kick them in the neck. But yes, the only thing they're going to get this summer at Terroir is Riesling by the glass.
See, to me, that's a sandbox.
It's my sandbox.
So, tell me why.
Like most sommeliers who are acid hounds, we all are, if you ask them, their favorite grape is Riesling.
No doubt.
We all believe that it's completely underappreciated. While sales have certainly grown in the last 20 years, people have moved beyond thinking that Riesling is inherently sweet. It still is not getting its proper place as the world's greatest white wine varietal and white wine. Well, it's
and maybe greatest wine, period.
By the end of the summer, we will have stated that clearly and shown that. But we need to tell the tale. Hopefully unlike it's ever been told before. So not only by the glass, is that all you're going to be able to have at this place, we're going to have the world of Riesling, but we're going to have multiple pages in the list that will focus on producers, on juxtaposing regions within a country, etc. So whatever can be told about Riesling, we're going to do it. And at the end of the day, if no one drinks the goddamn stuff, I'm going to have a great Riesling summer. Okay.
Summer of Riesling 2008. Got a gut feel there's going to be an autumn of or fall of. Where are we thinking you're going with that?
The think tank has yet to come up with that plan yet.
But that is going to be maybe a direction.
You know, I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves
right.
and how we market ourselves.
But if you feel it.
It could come in different forms.
Can we see like the fall of Chinon? I just want people to drink V8 juice a lot more. I want to push it.
V8 juice? What the hell's V8 juice?
Well, Chinons are so vegetal, right? You know, I just love vegetables, and that's why I think I love V8 juice. And so we need the fall of Chinon. Can I off camera, like
at the store?
We'll
do a joint marketing effort.
Done.
All right, dude.
Done.
Thank you very much.